I just think that there's a shout out there that we really need Kanate to get back and Gomez to keep staying up to form. And, you know, at some point there's going to be a shout to like give the big guy a rest for a match or two and like let him get his
Yeah.
head right and let some other people play. And, you know, I kind of got killed in our Discord channel for saying one day, like, if you're going to give Gomez the contract and you really believe he can get back to that top level form, then what we should all be really rooting for is Gomez gets to his top form. Kanate kicks on to that next level we all think he has in his game. And
And
the
they're the
two of
pairing.
them, push Van Dyke to say, you got to fight to get into this. We're the future. If you want to still be part, you got to push one of us to the bench. And, you know, and I think that's what I talk about when I'm saying, like, I want this club to be a little bit more ruthless with its own players in its own rank. I want them to buy players and push players on. Like, I want to see a player like, you know, Jones say, I got to go because it's too competitive here for me. And they got two more guys behind me. I'm going to go play somewhere else. If I were a City supporter, I'd be happy that Sterling was like, I don't want to be here anymore. They got 55 million for him, and then they went and bought a kid who's dynamite from Argentina to be the next round of it. And they replace him with Foden, and they bring in Mahrez, and they have Grealish. And like, I just believe that there has to be a turnover of your talent sometimes. And I think that our club has to start looking at some of these clubs that sell players on. I mean, Tottenham got 30 million for Bergwijn, and we let Mane get to the last year of his deal instead of selling him 2 or 3 years earlier when we could have got 70, 80 million and maybe reinvested it. We either have to see them spend and buy and keep filling the team of top level players, or we're going to have to wait for these young players to grow into that. And it's going to be a while before Harvey Elliott or Curtis Jones become the level of player that we're out being linked to in the market, or that we feel this club needs to improve it. And I just think that banking on these kids is there's a there is a business model here that I don't know works for as long as we've been trying to keep the success going. And that's my fear. There's a window and it might be closing.
I understand that, and this is something like we like discuss all the time because I think one can argue it has worked, and but can it keep working? That really depends on you got to get every move you make dead on, and
And that's
that's not very likely. So you can't afford to have a Keita, the situation we're in like that or anything like that. When you do get it, it has to be the Diaz, the Van Dijk, the Fabinho, and stuff like that. And you got to nail it right on the head every single time. And I understand, okay, that's why they're waiting for the player. It has to be the right player, as Klopp says. And this is his method. That part is not going to change. They've done that buy and sell in a very low scale with people like Taki and Ben Davies. That's the mystery player and stuff like that. But I understand what you're saying in terms of doing it in the bigger scale. I understand the money thing, to be honest, because I feel like that team was at the peak and you don't mess with that as they were going for all the trophies because you don't have the backing that City has. Because here's the thing with City, like you're saying, okay, they sell him for 55, they get Alvarez. But here's the thing with City: if Alvarez doesn't work out, City goes out and gets another guy for 40. That guy doesn't work out. I mean, look at how much money they spent on fullbacks. So they got the
no,
guys
I
they
know.
want, or the
But
center.
they
You know what I mean?
still
So they can afford to do that because the guy they get in replacement, if it doesn't pan out, they can go dip in again and get
oh,
another
there's
guy,
no
get another
question.
guy, get another guy.
But they also they buy guys like Ferran Torres and then they sell them a year and a half later for a profit. They buy a guy like Sane and everyone's like, why would they ever sell this guy? And then they go ahead and they sell him and they buy new players and they don't miss them and they keep winning without them. And the only thing I would challenge is, and I agree with you, it is working and it's a success. If we don't win the 2 cups last year and we walk out of last year with nothing, say we go out in the quarterfinals of the League Cup and that semifinals of the FA Cup, and all of this right now was one Premier League title and one uh, Champions League, would you say that this has been this huge ringing success?